Chapter 14. Do you really understand food? 第14章，你真的了解食物吗？一 A common sense of health that needs to be popularized. 需要普及的一个健康常识。Remember, anything that does not constitute body components, as long as you eat it, your body has to find a way to excrete it. 切记，凡是不是构成身体成分的，只要你吃进去，身体必须想办法把它排出来。There are various chemical additives in packaged food, species such as MSG, monosodium glutamate, pesticide residues, and hormones in food, etc. These things are not needed by our body, and these things do not constitute body components. So after you eat them, your body must drain them out. 包装食品里五花八门的化学添加剂、调味品如味精、食物里的农药残留和激素等，这些东西啊，我们身体并不需要。这些东西都不是构成身体成分的，所以你吃进去之后，身体必须把它排出来。How to excrete? Mainly rely on the detoxification function of the liver and kidneys. 怎么排呢？主要靠肝脏和肾脏的解毒功能。So, choosing to eat healthy food is significant. What you eat is more important than how you eat. 所以，选择吃健康食物很重要。吃什么比如何吃更重要。Before opening your mouth to eat, ask yourself, is this food healthy? 在张口吃之前，问一下自己，这个食物健康吗？I have seen many children, because their parents did not teach them the concept of health. They bought some spicy stickies with spicy flavor, which refreshed the taste, but made the liver under a lot of pressure. The junk food eaten in one bite satisfies the taste buds, but it takes a long time for the liver to decompose and remove the chemical additives in the junk food. 我曾看到许多小孩子，因为其父母没有教给孩子健康的观念，买一些麻辣味十足的麻辣条，爽了味觉，可是苦了肝脏。一口吃下去的垃圾食品，满足了味蕾，可是肝脏要花很长时间才能把垃圾食品里的化学添加剂分解清除掉。It doesn't matter if you eat junk food for a few months because your liver function is normal and can cope with external damage. But eating junk food for many years, the liver is overwhelmed. The liver function is abnormal, and these chemical additives cannot be decomposed, and they become toxins and accumulate in the body. It poisons our cells, including liver cells. 吃垃圾食品几个月没关系，因为你的肝脏功能正常，可以应付外来的伤害。但是常年累月吃垃圾食品，肝脏不堪重负，肝功能异常，无法将这些化学添加剂分解，就变成毒素，积累在身体里，毒害我们的细胞，包括肝细胞。After the liver cells are damaged, stop eating junk food. The liver will rehabilitate by itself. But if you still keep eating junk food, the liver cells will be damaged more and more severely, and many develop into hepatocellular carcinoma, which is why we occasionally hear the news that teenage children are diagnosed with liver cancer. 肝细胞受损后，停止吃垃圾食品，肝脏会自我修复，但是仍然屡教不改，肝细胞受损伤的程度愈演愈烈，可能会发展成肝细胞癌。这就是为什么我们偶尔会听到十几岁的孩子被诊断为肝癌的消息。Let me summarize. 我归纳总结一下。Anything that does not constitute a body component, as long as you eat it, the body must find a way to excrete it, is a toxin. 凡是不是构成身体成分的，只要你吃进去，身体必须想办法把它排出来的，就是毒素。Anything that makes up body components, as long as you eat them, they becomes part of your body, is nutrients. 凡是构成身体成分的，只要你吃进去，就变成身体一部分的，就是营养素。Anything for purpose of treating diseases, which is decomposed and excreted after eating it and exerting its effect, is medicine. 凡是以治疗疾病为目的，吃进去，发挥完作用后分解并排出体外的，就是药物。Number 2. Can today's food provide us with adequate and balanced nutrition? 今天的食物能给我们提供充足而均衡的营养吗？ 2.1 Source of protein 蛋白质的来源 The protein that the body needs is mainly obtained from foods such as fish, meat, egg, milk, and beans. Chinese people take pork and eggs as the main sources of protein intake. 身体需要的蛋白质主要从鱼、肉、蛋、奶和豆类等食物中获取。中国人以猪肉和鸡蛋为主要蛋白质的摄入来源。The nutrition of the pork has dropped a lot. Why? In the past, pigs were slaughtered for a year, but what about today? More than 3 months. As you all know, the rice in the south is not as delicious as the rice in the north, because the rice in the north has a long growing season. The same is true of pigs. The growth period is short, and the nutrition is reduced. 猪肉的营养下降了很多，为什么？以前的猪养一年才出栏，今天呢，3个多月。各位都知道，南方的大米没有北方的大米好吃，因为北方的大米生长期长，猪呢也一样，生长期短，营养就下降了。Many aquaculture industries use a large amount of antibiotics, resulting in antibiotic residues in food, such as chicken and fish raising. Exposure to a little antibiotics every day is very dangerous in the long run because the bacteria in the body have developed drug resistance. When you are infected by external bacteria, the antibiotics given to you by the hospital will be greatly reduced or even ineffective. 很多养殖业都大量使用抗生素，导致食物中的抗生素残留，如养鸡、养鱼等。每天接触一点抗生素长此以往是很危险的事情。为什么呢？因为身体里的细菌产生了耐药性。当你被外界的细菌感染时医院给你用的抗生素药效就会大大降低，甚至不起作用。The quality of our protein intake has declined and harmful substances have increased. 我们摄入的蛋白质品质下降，而且有害物质增加了。Source of carbohydrates 碳水化合物的来源。碳水 carbohydrates, commonly known as sugar, are mainly derived from cereals, namely rice and flour. 碳水化合物俗称糖，其来源呢主要是谷类及大米和面粉。The earliest we ate was 95 flour, which is 100 kgs of wheat yielded 95 kgs of flour. This kind of flour was black, had poor taste, and was a little bit, astringent. Later, everyone rushed to eat Fuqiang flour, namely 81 flour, which was much whiter and the taste was much better. The flour we eat today is 70 flour, over or even 65 flour. For a grain of wheat, we only eat the pure starch in the center of the wheat and throw away the rest. 最早我们吃的是95粉，即100斤麦子出95斤面粉。这样的面粉黑，口感差，有点涩味。再后来大家都抢着吃富强粉，即81粉，面粉白了很多，口感也好了很多。今天我们吃的面粉是70粉，甚至65粉，一粒麦子，我们只把麦子中央的纯淀粉吃了，其他的都扔掉了。In fact, God is very merciful. When he gives a grain of wheat to a human being, he puts all of the nutrients that the human body needs under the bark of the wheat. Today, we only eat the starch in the core of the wheat and throw away the vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber under the bark. 其实上苍很仁慈，赐给人类一粒麦子时，就把人体需要的营养素都放到了麦皮下了。而今天我们只吃了麦子心部的淀粉，而把麦皮下的维生素、矿物质、膳食纤维等等都扔掉了。Grains are a source of vitamin B complex for human beings. Through refined processing, the food containing vitamin B complex on our table has been extremely deficient, which is terrible. 谷物是人类 B 族维生素的来源。通过精加工，我们的餐桌上含有 B 族维生素的食物已极度缺乏，这是很可怕的事情。Some people say, I eat a lot of meals every day and I don't lack anything because the food we eat now doesn't contain some of the nutrients we need. So, even if you are overeating, you can't get the nutrients you need. 有人讲，我每天吃很多饭，什么都不缺，因为我们现在吃的食物中根本就不含有我们所需要的某些营养素，所以就算吃的撑死你 啊，撑死你，你也不能获得所需的营养素。When the nutrition is not balanced, you continue to take in the excess nutrients in the body, and the harm to the body may be greater because when the nutrition is unbalanced, the more some nutrients enter the body, the more nutrients the body is relatively deficient deficient in will be consumed, resulting in more insufficiency of these nutrients. 当营养不均衡时，你继续摄入体内本来就过剩的营养素，对身体的危害可能就越大。因为当营养不均衡时，一些营养素进入身体越多啊，就越消耗身体相对不足的营养素，导致这些营养素更加不足。For example, when the intake of starch, that is carbohydrates, is relatively high and the protein and vitamins are relatively insufficient, in order to consume the excess sugar that enters the body, the protein and vitamins that are relatively insufficient must be consumed, resulting in even more insufficiency of protein and vitamins. 比如，吃进的淀粉及碳水化合物的较多，而蛋白质和维生素相对不足时，为了消耗掉那些进入身体多余的糖，就要消耗掉本来就相对不足的蛋白质和维生素，导致蛋白质和维生素更加不足。2.3 Sources of vitamins and minerals 维生素和矿物质的来源。The body's main sources of minerals and vitamins are vegetables and fruits, and some are also obtained from meat and grains. 人体矿物质和维生素的来源主要是蔬菜和水果，也会从肉类和谷类获得一些。Come to think of it, do tomatoes taste the same today as they did 20 years ago? In the past, as long as the head of the tomato was red, the tomato tasted sweet and sour. If you look at the tomatoes now, they are all red to the S, but they don't even have the taste of tomatoes. 你想想，今天的西红柿和20年前的西红柿味道一样吗？以前只要西红柿的脑袋红一些，这个西红柿吃起来就酸甜可口。你再看看现在的西红柿，红到了屁股，可连西红柿的味道也没有。Think about it again. The taste of vegetables and fruits today are not as good as they used to be, right? If the taste is not good, it means that the corresponding nutrients in vegetables and fruits are less, and the quality of the vegetables and fruits has declined, but harmful substances have greatly increased. These are countless reports in this regard. 你再想想看，今天的蔬菜和水果的味道是不是大不如以前？味道不好了，说明蔬菜、水果里相应的营养素少了品质下降。蔬菜、水果的品质下降了，但有害物质却大大增多了。这方面的报道不计其数。I once bought this kind of kiwi fruit in the market. It was very big, hard, and beautiful. After buying it for 2 months, it had not become soft and hard. Is this kiwi fruit? No, it is just a granite, and I had to throw it away. The farmers who grow kiwi fruit eat the kind of small, ugly, but delicious kiwi fruit. 我曾在市场上买过这样的猕猴桃， 个头很大、很硬、很漂亮。买回来2个月都没有变软，硬邦邦的。我就想，这哪里是猕猴桃啊？简直就是个手榴弹。最后只好扔掉。这种猕猴桃啊，种猕猴桃的这个桃农们自己吃的却是那种又小又丑味道又很美的那种猕猴桃。So, the same is true of vegetables and fruits. The nutrient content has decreased, but the harmful substances have increased. After the harmful substances enter the body needs to consume a large amount of nutrients in order to excrete the harmful substances from the body. So, I can't figure it out now. After eating a tomato, am I losing or winning? 所以啊，蔬菜水果的情况也是这样，营养成分下降，但有害物质增加了。有害物质进入身体后啊，身体为了将有害物质排出体外，还要再消耗大量的营养素。所以啊，我现在搞不清楚了，吃一个西红柿啊，我是赔了还是赚了？I may get some vitamins, minerals, but in order to eliminate the harmful substances that enter my body, such as ripening agents, pesticides, heavy metal, salts, and other harmful substances. I also have to deplete the protein, vitamins, minerals in my body. 我可能会获得一些维生素、矿物质，但为了消除进入我身体的有害物质，如这个催熟剂农药重金属盐及其他有害物质，我还得消耗身体里的蛋白质、维生素、矿物质。I have told so many facts to prove that today's food can no longer provide us with sufficient and balanced nutrition. So, today, it is not a question of whether you want to eat nutrients, but we have to take nutrients for our own health. Everyone's nutritional deficiency exists objectively, but the degree of deficiency is different. 我讲这么多事实，证明今天的食物已经不能给我们提供充足而均衡的营养了。所以，今天不是你要不要吃营养素的问题了，而是我们为了自己的健康而不得不服用营养素。每个人的营养素缺乏都是客观存在的，只是缺乏程度轻重不同而已。Okay, for the health food and the junk food that the WTO announced, top 10 junk food, we're going to record for next video. For more great contents, please visit ChineseTutorly.com/health. See you next time. 再见。